Welcome to Woke Mental Wellness. We have radically changed our format because there's enough heaviness in the world that I wanted to include something that has been giving me a lot of joy and life during this pandemic, and that is tabletop role playing games. So, we are starting an actual play series for Woke Mental Wellness. And we have a fabulous cast of all Black, all queer, all super awesome nerds here with me. And we are doing a playthrough of a new indie TTRPG called 12 Inner Demons that has just recently came out. It is a game that is based on facing your traumas through gaming, which I thought would be a really great way for us to change the podcast and make it both more fun and more accessible. So, what we'll be doing is each month we will release 2 to 3 episodes that are game, and then we'll be releasing 1 to 2 episodes depending on what's been happening in the game and how much debriefing and talking we want to do outside of game about how the game relates to our work and our mental health journeys and what it means to be a Black queer person living in the US. So I have purposefully compiled a binder full of friends, which for anyone who doesn't get that reference, good for you. Uh, but I have some friends here that are going to introduce themselves. But as always, I am Cassie. I am a licensed clinical social worker here in Chicago. I do some activism, a lot of decolonizing work. I see people for therapy, both individual folks, relationships, and I occasionally run groups. I also do supervision, training, and consultation for other professionals. And my fellow clinician here today, who will be introducing themselves, is Cuyana. And then we have 2 folks who have been willing to come play with us as folks who have their own mental health journeys. And that's going to be Jay and Vita. So, first things first, let's go ahead and have everyone introduce themselves. Let's go ahead and go with Kiana first.
Hey, thanks, Cassie. So like they said, my name's Kiana, they, them pronouns. Um, Licensed clinical professional counselor, and I see all types of folks in all types of settings. So individuals, groups, that kind of thing. Um, I'm new to to tabletop games, so this will be really exciting. Um, and so yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm a therapist, but certainly also have my own mental health journey as well. So kind of playing both sides in that way too. So I'll say that.
Thank you. Uh, Jay, why don't you go next? Introduce yourself and, yeah, name, pronouns, maybe a little background, and then, yeah, how much experience you have gaming.
Hi, I'm Jay. I don't have a ton of experience in regards to tabletop games. Most of my background is in like video games, so I'm not super familiar with tabletop stuff. Um, I use she, her pronouns. I'm 31. I'm an Aquarius, and that's pretty much it.
Awesome. And Vita.
Hi, oh, unmute myself. All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Vita. I use they, them, and she, her pronouns. Um, I identify as neurodivergent. I live with bipolar disorder as well as anxiety and depression and insomnia. So this game kind of felt like a nice little deep dive into some of that stuff. I think that'll be exciting. I'm also a musician. I've been playing music for 18 years. and I'm currently a research coordinator for an anti-racism consulting firm. That's kind of my day job right now. Nice to meet you all.
Awesome. And I am glad to have you all here. Y'all may remember Vita from our absolute destruction of the movie Antebellum a few months ago. I promise this will be a different type of horror. This will be more the enjoyable type. So, a few things off the bat. As I mentioned before, this game is interesting and unique in that it is directly targeted towards um, delving into trauma and facing trauma and fear and things. So this game is likely to get heavy. I want to put out a content warning. We're going to be talking about trauma. The makeup of this game means that one of our players is called the target. That is the player that the demons are tied to and that the story is based off of. Our target is Vita, whose character I'll have them introduce in a moment once we get to the game, but just noting that we're going to be talking about things like anxiety, child abandonment. There's the possibility for there to be violence in the game. And we have had what's called a session 0, which is where we all got together and we talked about what our lines, limits, and veils were, which are ways to talk about what things you don't want in the game at all, the things that can only be in the game given certain circumstance or perhaps need to be happening off screen, but can be part of the game as far as the knowledge of the game, and the things that need to be very vaguely described if they're going to be in the game. So please know that we are having these safety conversations, and I encourage everyone who wants to get into tabletop gaming to also have session 0s, also talk about what things don't work, what you do want to see, what you don't want to see, because at the end of the day, even if we're playing very heightened, intense games based in trauma, the goal here is to have some fun with friends and to have some joy. Because we, as Black folks, I think we can all agree, joy is really needed and really important to maintain and keep a hold of. So, with that said, once again, saying a little bit more about 12 Inner Demons. It is a brand new game. My hard copy, I kickstarted it back in, I believe, 2020 or the end of 2019, and the pandemic messed it up. But it is by Witch and Craft Games, who've been fabulous. I've been emailing them and got permission to use this game. And it is set in whatever setting. We have chosen to set ours in Chicago. And it is a Chicago that is past the pandemic. So that will be something that we may also allude to, the pandemic having happened, but we live in a mythical Chicago where it is now over. And the thesis of the game is our target character has gone through a massive trauma that's been triggered, and it has gained the attention of an archdemon who, in 12 days, is going to come and obliterate the person and part of the city, if that happens. And there are seals all around the city that our crew is going to be attempting to destroy so that the archdemon cannot arrive and destroy everything. So our party is going to be made up of both humans and lesser demons. And they're going to be trying to find where the seals are and who they need to defeat, what they need to do to defeat the coming evil that is encroaching upon them and the city. So, this time, if you want to briefly go around and actually, let's do the reverse order so that our target is first. But just give your character's name and a brief description of your character. Vita, if you want to go first.
Yes. So my character's name is Aya Nicole Winters. My character is the target for the Archdemon. Um, she is a bartender uh, with very, very mothering tendencies who likes to ride bikes and is very, very strong. Her biggest trauma is that she was abandoned as a child. Um, and the trigger right now is her living in the same neighborhood where her family used to live um, before she was abandoned.
All right. Our other human character, Jay, if you'd like to introduce your character a bit.
Sure. My character is Amani. She is 29. She works remote tech support for Vita's bar, Vita's character's bar. And she's really kind of a shut-in. She's not super trustful. She's friendly enough, but so she doesn't have a ton of friends. Um, and she's kind of like semi-paranoid, and usually just kind of stays at home, does research, is kind of a one of those weird prepper types, and uh, is kind of like ultimately preparing for the apocalypse. She just didn't really foresee it, being a whole demon thing.
Awesome. And our wonderful lesser demon who joins our humans. Cuyana, if you'd like to introduce your character and give a little synopsis.
So my demon's name is Cyphera, and they use they and she pronouns and are a horned demon. And yeah, I mean, Cyphera is just filled with rage. That is where a lot of her power comes from. And then on the other end of that, she's really, because she's so angry and full of rage, she also is really wary of other people and also a bit paranoid. Um, and so she's very aware of her surroundings, we'll say too. Um, but yeah, she's a badass. She's super tall, 7 feet. Um, just always kind of has that resting bitch face. But in a really great way. So yeah, that's her. And I'm sure we'll get to know a little bit more about her as we go along.
Yeah, and I think one thing about this game is that most demons don't actually look like people. So, if you would be so kind, actually, we'll let you describe it at a narratively appropriate moment.
Okay, that sounds good.
And I am serving as our GM or game master. Um, and so I will be playing all of the NPCs and helping to taunt and torture these people. Consensually, of course, as we're all here and had our session 0. So I encourage everyone to take a nice deep breath, let it out nice and slowly as we enter the world of Windy City Demons. The air is cold, and a young teen with white hair and dark skin stands in an empty street outside a Chicago Greystone. The door is ajar, and there is fog and mist around everything. The young adolescent stares at this building, just her and the building, unobscured by this unnatural mist. The wind whips as the teen runs into the open door. Ghostly voices and howls sound as a grown person with the same white hair and dark skin now stands in a derelict room with a red door hanging off the hinges behind her. In front of her is a pumpkin with a carved clock face. The clock strikes 12 and we hear a rasping, "Come to me!" The girl whips around as mist surges into the decaying room and the girl falls back into a misty darkness. October 20th, day 1. Aya, with a jolt, you wake up from this dream. You've knocked off all of your blankets, and even though the sun streams in your window, there's a chill to your apartment and looks fairly foggy outside. You're drenched in sweat and your hand burns a bit. You look at the back of your hand and you see that, like in the dream, there is a faint pumpkin shape with a clock carved into it. And right now, it just shows 1. Saphira, you watch all of this happening. This human, from the corner of her room, you know the signs. Fitful, murmuring sleep, and sure enough, a mark appears on this mortal's hands. And she wakes up. Saphira, do you make yourself known?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Hi. Aya. My name's Saphira.
You hear this voice, and as you go to look, what you see is a hulking, 7-foot-tall, black-horned, red skin with black spidering veins, small rows of thorns running down the arms of this creature, and the horns black and curled atop what you imagine is their head.
What the hell are you?
Well, I mean, I'm a demon. Can't you tell?
I know you're something. You're not something I've seen much of.
Yeah, you humans don't tend to see us much. We're all around.
What do you want?
Well, it's kind of up to you. We'll see.
Aya slowly reaches for one of her blades.
Aya, I think this is a great time then to... Sounds like you're starting to freak out a little bit. This might be a really great time to make a fear test.
Oh, jeez.
So, this game is played with predominantly D10s, and when a person rolls, they tend to roll 3 unless there's bonuses. And so we use target numbers, or TNs. For this, having woken up, having something kind of burned, tattooed into your hand, and having this hulking mass of something, let's go ahead and say that this is probably a TN7.
TN7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you'll roll 3d10, and the number that are 7 or higher is your number of successes.
Looks like I rolled a 7 and 2 8s.
Okay, so 3 successes. So you see this and you start to become very worried and start to reach for your knife, which is there. And so you acknowledge that right now, generally, you seem to actually be okay. Perturbed. This is strange. But you have protection.
I wager you're not here for no reason.
No, you can, don't be afraid of me yet. I'm not the demon who's threatening you right now.
Excuse me?
Yeah, there's bigger things coming.
So you know about whatever this is on my hand?
Yeah, I have a sense of it.
Well, then what is it?
So, who you really need to be worried about is the boss, the Archdemon.
Okay, what's that?
Well, I've heard you got some heavy shit on your heart. And that's what the demon feeds off of. You look like you know what I'm talking about.
This apartment.
Hmm.
I used to live near here. I was just a kid. I came home and my brother, my mom, my dad, they were gone, and
Hmm.
they were gone, and it's my fault.
Hmm.
It must have been.
Saphira, you can feel the hurt, the suffering coming off of this mortal. Like a very fine chocolate or cream or wine.
Hmm. I bet that fills you with rage, Aya. I can feel it. It's so strong.
Why do you care?
Well, it feeds me. And I love to be fed.
Well, I didn't ask to be your buffet, so what the fuck do you want?
Well, I, I want some more of that rage. But
Is this activating Aya's aggression trigger?
Ooh, that's a good point. That's up to you. You can absolutely try something if you'd like.
I don't. I don't know. I guess I was wondering.
Yeah. Well, you are being talked about like food. And you can see that. What does it, Saphira, what does it look like as you smile, if it could be called that?
hmm, it's very twisted smile, like a smirk. Um, but there's evil behind it, I'd say. in a bit of a, if you're asking me and not asking to narrate, just say this. Um, and there's definitely some teeth, if you want to call them that, but they're kind of like, what is it called? Like,
Jagged.
yeah, jagged and
Yeah.
sharp. They look like metal almost.
So you are staring at something, talking about you like food with a predator's warped smile. But you do have your knife.
If I understand this, do I need to roll? I need to roll to keep from.
You can, so
I can
you
either.
can you can roll an attack if you'd like, and we can move into combat if you would like to try and fight Saphira.
The other option I have is to try to roll to diffuse the situation.
Well, so you already succeeded your fear test, and so I would say you could just continue this conversation regardless of how surly you'd like to be in that endeavor. That is absolutely up to you and how you feel Aya Nicole would respond to this peculiar conversation you're having.
Yeah, and it's, obviously my first time narrating, so if I'm missing cues that you're dropping,
Nah,
it's
you're doing
probably
great.
true. Okay.
No, I'm learning too.
Great.
So you want me pissed off?
Always.
Are you sure that's what you want?
Well, I'll have to hold off for now. Like I said, there's bigger things coming, and even I can see we don't have time for that.
Oh, Jesus. Are you going to be cryptic through this whole exchange, or are you going to tell me who you are, what you want with me?
I told you. I'm Saphira. I'm a demon, and we need to work on your shit.
You're not here to kill me.
Not yet. I could, but I won't.
As strange as it feels and as alien as this thing looks, you sense that there is truth, that they are not, in fact, here to harm you and are here to help you in their own strange yet selfish way.
We need to, how can I say this? We need to go to where it hurts.
Great. That sounds amazing. Sign me up. Where do we start?
Well,
Who's this boss of yours?
the Archdemon is. Wait, sorry, can I pause? Is it the Archdemon? I can't remember.
Yep. You may
Okay,
not
great.
be working for this one, or you may have worked for one
No.
before. You probably don't actually know who the
Got it.
Archdemon is this time, at least not yet. There's not enough signs.
Okay, cool. So the Archdemon is just, he's unknown, or sorry, they're unknown. Don't know anything much about him, but I know that they're bad news. If we let them take over, if we let them take you over, the world is done.
Everyone?
Everyone. Now, normally, I'd be okay if there's a little bit more rage in the world, but I need people for that. And I can't have everyone gone.
How Greek of you.
At this point, Aya, you look at you actually see your real clock. And you seem to have slept in, or maybe your alarm didn't go off, but it's already 4:30 p.m.
Shit. Fuck, I'm supposed to be at work already.
Work? We don't have time for work.
You gonna pay my rent?
You won't have any rent to pay if the world ends.
Okay, and what happens then? What happens in the meantime?
I told you, we have to work on your shit.
Well, and I have to work this job, so what's our compromise here? We need a middle ground.
Fine.
I can't lose another home.
All right. Jeez. Just this once. Go to work. But you better be thinking about your shit.
As if I had a choice right now. You're just gonna be here in my apartment waiting for me to get back?
I'll be busy, but I might join you along the way.
Don't bring anything back here.
Don't tell me what to do.
You showed up into my house.
All right. Enough fighting. Just go to work.
Fine.
You see Saphira turn around, and you had only seen them from the front. And when she turns, it's at that point that you also see the row of eyes going down her back.
Holy shit.
I'm always watching.
Is that the point at which Saphira leaves and allows Aya to get dressed and ready for work?
Yes.
And that is where we will stop for today. This is the end of day 1, time slot 1 of our playthrough of 12 Inner Demons. Thank you for listening to Woke Mental Wellness presents Windy City Demons, a woke mental wellness actual play and mental health conversation. We will be uploading on Saturdays, Fridays for our Patreons. So please follow, subscribe, whatever the equivalent is where you're looking. And if you like what we're doing, please leave us a review, and we will see you next week.